Live from Washburn University in Topeka, Kansas, it's KSWU News.
Hello everyone and welcome to KSWU News. I'm Sarah Sewell.
And I'm Carly Willis. The United States and the 5 world powers negotiating with Iran to curb its nuclear program are getting closer to brokering a deal, but there might not be enough time to bridge some significant differences. The U.S. Secretary of State and the Iranian Foreign Minister have wrapped up their 3rd straight day of talks on Iran's nuclear program. Iran and its negotiating counterparts are close to an agreement on reining in Iran's nuclear program to achieve a 1-year breakout, but the two sides made little progress in the latest round of negotiations on reaching a consensus on Iran's nuclear research program and the lifting of sanctions. Iran is looking for full removal of sanctions, but it is reluctant to give up on its more advanced nuclear technology. But the U.S. and its partners are only willing to lift some sanctions. Both sides have until the end of the month to work out a framework deal. The Ferguson police officer who killed Michael Brown will not face criminal charges. The Justice Department formally closed its investigation of Officer Darren Wilson. In a report released today, prosecutors said Wilson's actions did not constitute a violation of federal civil rights law. The Justice Department also issued a 100-page report that included findings of systemic racial discrimination by the Ferguson police and court system against African American people. The Justice Department could use it to file a federal lawsuit against the police department unless the city agrees to make some major changes.
Congress passed a $40 billion bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security. The bill funds the department until the end of September. The bill doesn't include any measures to defund President Obama's immigration plan. President Obama has signed the Department of Homeland Security funding bill. The House cleared legislation Tuesday after a standoff last week threatened to shutter the agency and furlough thousands of workers.
Now our men and women can return to the vital work of combating terrorism, ensuring border security, port security, aviation security, cyber security, and our other vital homeland security missions, without the uncertainty of a furlough or a delayed paycheck hanging over their heads.
Detectives in Missouri are asking the public to help them solve a cold case after a woman's remains were found in a field. Detectives in Missouri want to know if this woman looks familiar to you. 30 years ago, a dog found human remains in a Clay County field. Forensic experts in Texas studied the remains and DNA evidence. They say the bones belong to a woman who was probably in her 20s around 1984. Using her skull, an artist created a sketch of what she may look like now.
It's very important for people to call in and say, you know, they think that's a relative or they know something, and we will follow it all up. If we need to go take DNA from a relative to have checked, we will do that, whatever it takes. We just need the leads.
A tortoiseshell hair comb was found near the remains as well. Clay County detectives are hoping anyone from the Missouri area who may know about a young woman's disappearance in the early 80s to give them a call. Coming up, we'll meet with a tennis player that is following in her family's footsteps here at Washburn.
No more. It's none of my business.
No more. I'm sure they'll work it out.
No more. It only happened once.
No more. He said he was sorry. No more. Why doesn't she just leave?
No more. Not my problem.
No more, but he has such a bright future.
No more. He didn't mean it.
No more bystanding.
No more ignorance.
No more excuses. No more.
Don't make me throw it down. Don't make me throw it down. That down. Don't make me throw it down. Don't make
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all, we approach re-employment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Donate to Goodwill, where your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community.
Welcome back to KSWU News. I'm Carly Willis, and I'm joined by Jody Blackham, who's a tennis player here at Washburn University. It's good to have you with us, Jody.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Washburn seems to be a family affair for your family. How much did that have to do with your decision to play here?
It definitely played a big role, you know, having my parents both be athletes from Washburn. They were definitely willing to have me go here, you know, since they knew the school. And I think a big part of it was my sister played here as well, and she was still here when I was coming in as a freshman, and she was actually my assistant coach my freshman year, and we're really close, so having her here was a good comfort, and since I'm 4 hours away from home, it was nice to have her here.
Yes. In high school in Oklahoma, you seem to have a lot of success in tennis and volleyball. Did you always know that you wanted to play just tennis in college, or what led to that decision?
Yeah, I pretty much always knew it was going to be tennis. I had the brief thought of trying to play volleyball collegiately, but you know, I'd been playing tennis since I was 4 years old, and I knew that was what I wanted to do.
So with all your successes in tennis in high school, what was the first year like that you played here at Washburn?
It was definitely a change, you know, more fast-paced, more competitive, and the whole team aspect, whereas high school was kind of a little bit more individualized. But coming here, you know, being a part of a team that we were all competitive, we were all here to win, it was really nice change, and we didn't have the success we wanted initially, but you know, we're making gains and we're getting better each and every year.
Now, are you doubles or singles?
I actually play both.
What do you prefer?
In high school, I probably would have said singles, but now I really have grown to love doubles.
And your partner is Kason Buckman, is that correct?
Yes.
Who is a Washburn basketball player. What is it like being partners with Kason when she has some other commitments here at Washburn too?
It's definitely a challenge sometimes because, you know, we won't get her back until she's done with basketball, and sometimes, you know, it could be mid-March or, you know, beginning of April. It depends on how well they do. And having her not be there all the time is a little hard, but when she gets back, she definitely, you know, she's a presence, and she's a great competitor, a great athlete, both basketball and tennis, and it's a great thing that she can be a part of both teams.
Wonderful. If you're just now joining us, I'm Carly Willis, and I'm here with Jody Blackham, who is a junior student and a tennis player here at Washburn. So, can you explain to me a little bit about how the tennis season worked? I know you played a little this fall, but is your major season this spring?
Yeah, major season spring. We have a short fall season of like a couple tournaments that are pretty individualized.
Is it hard to play with the different weather going between the fall and the spring?
Definitely. Fall is always usually pretty nice and even kill with the weather, but when we start out in the spring, we usually start out with a couple matches indoors, and then we'll move to outdoors, but with the recent snow we've had, we haven't really gotten to go outside yet, and we were supposed to have a match outside this Saturday, so it can be a challenge.
And I understand that Lance Lysett is in his first year coaching here at Washburn. What is it like having a coach who is brand new here?
It was definitely a change of pace, you know, from our old coach. He had some family stuff go down, and, you know, it was just best for him to leave. And having Coach Lysett come in, you know, he definitely came in and he was ready to change the program for the better. And, you know, he implemented a lot of change, and it's been a lot of hard work, but we've come a long way.
Good. How about the men's team? Do you guys play the same schedule as them?
We usually try to. It's hard in our conference because a lot of the schools in our conference don't have men's tennis teams, but for the most part we do play along with the men.
And I understand it's been kind of a rough start to the season. Are things looking better as conference play is coming near?
Yes, definitely. We have Lincoln next week, and that's going to be a good match for us, and, you know, getting Kason back will definitely change our team dynamic as well, because she just makes us one more person stronger.
Wonderful. And last question, your favorite women's tennis player?
Women's tennis player would probably have to be Victoria Azarenka.
Okay.
She's just a good player. She's a fighter, and, you know, she's not afraid to go out there and give it her all.
Wonderful. Well, best of luck this next week to you.
Thank
you, Jody. We'll be back after this.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings. and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Thanks for joining us back on KSWU News. Facebook has become an important part of our culture. It is an easy way to stay in touch with friends and family, but like many things, it can have its drawbacks. A new study suggests those are all possible reactions to being on Facebook too much. The study comes from the University of Missouri. They talked to more than 700 college students and found that checking in on your peers on Facebook can make you think that you don't quite measure up. The key to the study, though, is that the depression comes only after the envy. If you can check Facebook without getting jealous, you should be okay. Those most at risk are users who the researchers described as surveillance users, most commonly called stalkers. If you're constantly checking on your friends' progress, you may be more likely to compare their success to your own. The big recommendation the study makes is to remember that Facebook does not provide you the entire picture of someone's life. According to the study, in most cases, people only are going to post what makes them look good, so their lives may not be as perfect as they seem. The Washburn Student Government Association is having its annual spring elections for presidential and senator positions. Students running for president and vice president can announce their candidacy at 6:30 today in the Kansas room of the Memorial Union. 3 pairs of Washburn students have already announced their candidacy for the presidential elections. There will be a presidential debate at 7 p.m. Thursday in the Mabee Library for students to get to know the candidates better. The debate will be moderated by Sean Bird. Current Vice President Randy McAfee says it's important for students to vote. Still wasn't right.
So if you're a student that attends a class here, this should matter to you. And if you have an issue with anything that is going on at Washburn, or you would like to hear any of these issues and know how we could be bettering the Washburn experience, it's important for you to vote and possibly go to the debate or do some research on the candidates yourself to find out what they stand on and which ones you think would be better to represent you, a student, in the student body.
Elections will be held March 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Netflix's plan to debut the movie Beasts of No Nation in U.S. theaters and online simultaneously isn't going over well with theater chains. Regal Cinemas, AMC, and other major theaters are now refusing to show the film. Traditionally, most films aren't released for home viewing until 90 days after being released in theaters. Netflix acquired rights to the film and plans to make the most money from the acquisition. The online entertainment service made the same bold move when it announced plans to premiere a sequel to the early 2000s blockbuster Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in theaters and online in August later this year. You've seen her work, now meet the artist. Here's a look at Washburn Review art director Chelsea Howe.
Readers of the Washburn Review are probably familiar with the work of Chelsea Howe. The artist, whose senior exhibition Gingerly Genuine wraps up this week, has been contributing her award-winning comics and illustrations to the campus paper for over a year now. Like many artists, the inspiration for Howe's work comes from her childhood.
I used to watch a lot of cartoons when I was younger, and I would watch a lot of Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, Disney movies, loved Disney movies.
While best known around Washburn for her work in the review, Howe has also designed logos, posters, and promotional materials for a number of area businesses. She hopes this experience will help jumpstart her career as a graphic designer after graduating this spring.
I really enjoy working in a group of graphic designers trying to accomplish something, trying to brand something, trying to market something.
An avid comic book fan, Howe has recently self-published her own comic book titled Bite Size, which she wrote and illustrated herself after being bitten by a brown recluse spider. She also hopes to one day release a children's book based on her series of drawings called How Neat Would It Be? In addition to her series of comics, Howe has also crafted an array of fine art illustrations, digital prints, and process illustrations for local television programs. With a portfolio too diverse to label with conventional terms, the body of this artist's work can only be described in one way.
Pure Chelsea Howe.
For KSWU News, this is Ryan Ogle reporting.
Chelsea's senior show, Gingerly Genuine, will be on display in the art building through this Friday. Coming up after this, we'll be talking to Christian Sauerman, a co-sponsor of the Vigil of Victims for Sexual Assault. Stay tuned.
All the preparation, the training, it all comes down to this.
To be a winning team, you have to work like a winning team.
We have a job to do out here today.
Some people think it's about muscle, but it's really about heart. A lot of heart.
My team depends on me.
And my team is 50,000 strong.
Looks like a lot of work's going into this.
Is what it feels like to be part of a team.
A winning team.
The action team.
Get in on the action at actionteam.org. Are you in?
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hello and welcome back to KSWU News. I'm Sarah Sewell and I'm here with Christian Sauerman, a co-sponsor of the vigil that will be held to honor victims of sexual assault. So, what exactly brought you to help co-sponsor the vigil?
Well, it's just that I've worked with Right Love in Our Arms. I'm an actual member of that. And then seeing throughout the 3 years that I've been at Washburn, seeing the sexual assaults and all that, seeing we kind of want to come together with organizations that I know will help out with this and to really speak out against it. And that's really just going along with that.
So, what are you kind of trying to accomplish with the vigil?
We're hoping to get students together and stand against sexual assault to make sure that we all feel safe at Washburn, to make sure that people are able to go to their cars at night and not being afraid in any party, just not being afraid of going to their cars and getting attacked or anything like that.
Have you received any criticism or disapproval from other members on campus?
Usually I've had open arms with both of my friends that are on campus and a lot of organizations outside of campus that I work with and a lot of coworkers as well. They've all been full support of this.
Okay. What student organizations are working to help with this?
So we have Right Love in Our Arms, which I'm part of with. We're also having STAND. And those are the two main. We have other professors too that are helping out, trying to make sure that this all goes running smoothly and the events afterwards.
Okay, so what kind of events will be going on?
So of course we have the vigil, and then we're in the near future we're going to be having a rally. So it's going to be based off of like what goes on with the vigil and what we get like for suggestions, and then we'll be going off with that and having a rally. It's going to be very have different speakers. We're going to have like some physical activities go along with it, so it's not like a huge protest, but it's more of a rally.
Do you guys have set dates for those events?
The vigil is actually tomorrow at noon. The rally is we're going to get the information for that soon.
Okay, all right, well, we'll have to hear about that. Do you have any plans for the future?
Other than the rally, we're just going to see where this goes.
Okay, well, can you give us a few more details about the vigil?
So the vigil, we have an actual member of STAND coming to talk. We're going to have introductions. We're going to have Misha Reed from STAND talk about talking against sexual assault and rape, and then we're going to have a anonymous card where people can come and either write like sympathy or positivity, and then also we're going to have a suggestion box. So people who have suggestions about how to make Washburn safer or talking against stuff like that.
Who are you hoping attends?
I'm hoping a lot of professors. I'm actually in a fraternity, so I'd like to see a lot of my fraternity brothers and other people in the Greek community as well, and just a lot of my friends and people that I may have known throughout the years just come and support what I'm trying to do and to support something that we all should believe in.
All right. Well, do we have any speakers or any professors that are going to speak at the event?
Tomorrow, Israel's having Misha read, but other than that, we're going to have I think, a pastor coming in for the rally, but that's all. It's going to be details are going to be hashed out soon.
Okay. Well, I look forward to that event. We will get back to the Washburn news right after this break.
I believe that home is where your pet is.
And that loving an animal means never giving up on them, never letting them go.
I believe that when you spay or neuter your pets, you help decrease the number of homeless animals.
Because every dog and cat deserves a place to call home.
I believe that I found my best friend at a shelter. And you can too.
We believe that together with Best Friends Animal Society,
We can bring about a time when there are no more homeless pets.
visit ambassadors.bestfriends.org.
Odds of becoming an astronaut, 1 in 13,200,000. Odds of being struck by lightning, 1 in 576,000. Odds of dating a supermodel, 1 in 88,000. Odds of bowling a perfect game, 1 in 11,500. Odds of being trapped in an elevator, 1 in 24,528. Odds of catching a ball at a major league game, 1 in 563. Odds of an injury from shaving, 1 in 6,585. Odds of tripping while texting, 1 in 10. Odds of getting cancer in your lifetime, 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women.
It's up to us.
To change the odds for our generation.
For the ones we love. For our future.
If you don't like the odds, stand up. Stand up to cancer.
Welcome back to KSWU News. The Washburn women's basketball season ends with a loss to Northeastern State University in the first round of the MIAA tournament. Washburn went to halftime down by 10 points and could never recover. The Ichabods lost 59-46. Senior Honor Duval led the team with 12 points and 9 rebounds, and Allie Nickel had 10 points. The women finished 16-12 on the year. Well, even though the women are done for the season, the Washburn men's basketball team is playing in the quarterfinals of the MIAA tournament. Washburn was seeded 8th in the tournament and will take on Northwest Missouri State. The Bearcats are the #1 seed in this weekend's tournament. Tip-off is at noon Thursday at Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City. Washburn won the only meeting between the two schools in Maryville 70-64 on January 10th. This season is the second straight season that the Ichabods have been the #8 seed in this tournament. Well, to the diamond now, the Washburn Ichabod softball team had a doubleheader scheduled for today against Rockhurst, but it has been postponed to a later date because of wet field conditions and anticipated cold weather in the area. The Ichabods will start up conference play on Friday when they will host Lincoln, and then they'll play Saturday against Lindenwood. The softball team is 6-3 and has won 4 games in a row. Speaking of the Diamond, the Royals starting spring training today against the Rangers down in Arizona.
Yeah, actually, we got word from the booth that they won 13-2 this afternoon.
Well, hey, that's a good start after last trips to the World Series.
Yeah. If you're just now joining us, please follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and stay caught up with our show on our Facebook page. We put the link up every week. We are live at 5 every Wednesday, and we will appreciate you tuning in. For KSWU News, I'm Carly Willis.
I'm Sarah Sewell.
And I'm Trevor Nedman. We'll see you next week.